So technology has the ability to completely revolutionize an industry. Take Uber, for example. By being able to replace the person that makes the calls to the individual cabbies, telling them where to go, they replace that with technology. So what we are working with now is an idea of revolutionizing the hiring space and looking at that piece by piece and where you can build those efficiencies. Google spent $150 million trying to teach unconscious bias and train their employees to think in a way that was equal and even amongst each other. But the thing that we've been able to figure out with our research is that you cannot train the unconscious mind. It moves at 1/5 of a second, while the conscious mind moves at about a half a second. So that's where your thoughts are going to initially come from. Because of that, this is the space that we're working for. My name is Raymond Sutton.
My name is Peter Kawanaga.
And we are BlindedHR.
So imagine going to the grocery store and you're going to buy some wine and they got French music playing. You're naturally going to pick the French wine, right? As opposed to the German wine, perhaps, right? Or vice versa. They got German music playing, you're going to pick the German wine, right? Stores know how to play on these habits that we have, right? And that's essentially the conscious mind. Essentially, it's just a pattern recognition mechanism that just kind of selects information really quickly so we can make rapid decisions. So if you see a red hot stove, you're not going to touch it, right? But sometimes it's a problem, whereas the conscious mind, it takes us time to make calculated decisions, right? And that relies on information, so it processes information a lot slower. But the unconscious mind takes over 95% of our daily decisions and habits, which is good. Again, it's a safety measure, but a lot of times where it comes into play is in recruiting. Again, it takes only 1/5 of a second to make a decision about a name.
So some of the errors we found as far as recruiting is the time it takes to review a resume. When I initially asked myself, I wonder how long it takes for a recruiter, I said maybe 5 minutes. But the average time a resume is reviewed is between 18 and 30 seconds. That is astounding. Because of that, the way that resumes are currently formatted, there's a lot of information there. There's no way to go through that in 18 to 30 seconds to pull out the important information. Because of that, people are moved out of that potential pipeline because the unconscious mind figures out patterns and looks at certain applicants a certain way to decide whether or not they're best fit for the position, when in all actuality, it takes more than just an initial, for instance, where you go to school or maybe what industry you've worked in before to figure out if you're a really great fit. Hiring bad is also very expensive. It costs 2.5 times the salary to replace a person once they're fired or removed from that company. And another piece is the turnover. So obviously, if you have more turnover, you're spending more to replace those users and you're decreasing your productivity. This all leads to a very exclusive workplace where you can't always get the best talent because sometimes they're moved out of that pipeline a bit early. The solution that we are proposing and working through currently is a two-step process. The first is to streamline the information that recruiters are looking at. We're removing the name initially from a resume to remove any insight of name, gender, ethnicity. We're also removing the name of the college, as in certain areas, name recognition of a school can also play with the unconscious mind to then incorporate that that particular person is more qualified than another applicant. The second piece to that is the review process. Actually having recruiters look through these resumes that have that removed information, they have the best information in front of them to quickly make a great decision. So currently, this is what some of our software looks like. Currently building that out, testing it a bit, but we're working to launch in a few months. And because of what we've worked on now, there are some benefits between what we've gone with now versus what is currently being used.
So, so essentially what we've done is we've streamlined the resume process. So you reviewing a resume in 18 seconds, you got to do that quickly, but you want to get rid of any distractions that might take you from making a proper decision. With that, you're not canceling out early qualified talent in that initial process, which allows you to have a bigger talent pool to decide from. Essentially, that we see that's going to increase a more diverse and inclusive workforce, which if you have a more diverse, inclusive workforce, you can make better decisions for more diverse customers and make more better products, which helps companies sell better.
So the company inspiration is a personal story. I graduated from North Carolina State in 2010, had some difficulty finding a job. And so my name is Ray Mall. A local recruiter instructed me to change my name from Ray Mall to Ray, or use my middle name of Alexander. I implemented that, and 2 to 3 months later, I got 2 to 3 times as many callbacks and interviews. And so during some of the research that I've been doing, I kind of feel like this particular approach can benefit companies as well as the people who are applying directly for those jobs.
So through our conversations with different companies and the HR recruiters and the profession, we definitely see a huge need. There's a little bit of understanding the problem. Again, you have your Googles that are spending more of the money on diversity training, inclusion bias training, but not seeing a huge return. I mean, $150 million in a year and not really seeing much of a return on that, whereas you can simply solve that with technology.
Thank you so much. Here is some information if you guys want to contact us, reach out, sign up on the mailing list for the website. Thank you.
Want more secrets from inside the minds of entrepreneurs and innovators around the world? Subscribe to our YouTube channel here and click the link below. We'll send you our best interviews and strategies for growing your business.